Sound of siblings, sound of siblings. Road trip vibes and retro cheers. Monday mornings we're hitting your ears from concerts while to TV screens. We're spilling the scoop on the hottest scenes, chatting about the stars and the shows on the go with your hosts Bali and Mo. Woo! Sound of siblings, sound of siblings. Hello everyone, welcome to the Sound of Siblings podcast. I am one of your hosts, Bali.
And I'm Mo.
And we are very, very happy to be back to do this, what is going to be like a filler episode. We had a lovely, delicious other episode that we recorded on Tuesday? Monday. On Monday.
We lost the footage.
We lost some of that footage. This super moon, full moon, blood moon. Hey.
No.
Yes, Volva. Yes, Volva. I have some questions for Mo. This is not going to be like an informative episode like our other episodes have been necessarily. I'm just going to get his perspective on certain things that I've been hearing from other podcasts that I've been listening to. Okay. So we're going to move into the first segment of the podcast, which is going to be game time. Today we're going to play the game that we played, I think, 2 episodes ago. We're going to redeem ourselves, and we're going to play Meet in the Middle. We also tried to play this with the family on the weekend, and it didn't work out. So maybe we just don't have what it takes to meet in the middle, but let's just try one more time. We'll do, let's say, a maximum of like 5 rounds.
Cool.
And then we'll call it at the 5th round.
All right, cool.
Or if we get it wrong. Okay. This is how the game Meet in the Middle works. So the 2 people that are part of the game have to try and guess the same word. And if they don't guess the same word, so let's say the first 2 words are like egg and bread, you have to deduce between those 2 words like what that next common word will be. I think this is the thing that we were getting wrong before, is that we were just thinking that it's a word that relates to it, but like what common word would be the most obvious word to say that really meets in the middle of those 2 words, and that word might be something like breakfast or something like that, right? Because you have egg and bread. Awesome. So we're going to do 5 rounds, and we're going to call it at 5 rounds if we get it wrong. I wish we had something nasty to drink, because then we can drink something nasty, but it's fine. We'll start with the first round. Are you locked in?
Yeah, I'm locked in.
Okay. 1, 2, 3. Breakups.
Whoa.
You didn't even. You didn't even say anything. So now I can't even use that one.
I didn't hear the countdown for real.
3, 2, 1.
Chimney.
Microphones. Did you say chimney?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Chimney and microphones.
Okay.
Chimney and microphones.
Come on.
Okay, round 2. 3, 2, 1. Fire.
Satellite.
Oh, that's smart. Chimney and microphones. That's smart. Okay. Satellite. You gotta be locked in.
What
We're
did
in
you
South
say?
Africa. I said fire.
Satellite and fire.
Yeah. Yeah, satellite and fire. Are you locked in?
Okay.
Are you locked in? Mm-hmm. Okay. 3. This is round 3. 3, 2, 1.
DSTV.
Starlink.
There's no Starlink in South Africa.
Yeah, but that's the fire. Is like the conspiracy.
No. We need something to drink, because that is bang out of order. That's bang out of order. What? The conspiracy, the fire.
Okay, Starlink and satellite.
No, Starlink and DSTV.
Oh, sorry,
DSTV.
Starlink and DSTV.
We're so cooked there. Okay.
So this is round 4?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Starlink and DSTV. Okay. 3, 2, 1.
Frequency.
Interstellar. Because I was like, space, outer space. Satellite dish.
Frequency. How they communicate.
Okay, so what is it? Frequency and interstellar.
Interstellar. See, now the problem is that I'm gonna go to the actor of Interstellar and we're gonna lose complete direction.
But what does the actor of Interstellar have to do
He's in the movie.
with what you said? Frequency.
What did Starlink fire intelligence with anything?
Okay, this is the last round, Mo. We got
is this the last round?
Yes. This is the last round.
So
okay.
what is it? Interstellar and frequency.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Frequency and Interstellar. Okay.
Okay.
Clear? Okay. 3, 2, 1.
Radio.
Oh, we were so close though. We were so close. Nah. I give that to us. We got 3 letters. We got 3 letters and the same amount of letters in the word as well. So we're close. This is the best that we did. We did the best. Okay, so we technically won on a technicality. This next part of the pod is going to be the discussion where I ask Mo a series of questions because during the discussion, somebody brings something that they want to get someone's perspective on. I think it was episode 1. We were asking people if there's a dating crisis.
Okay.
In South Africa, right? We didn't really get any responses because y'all said, who the hell are you? And why are you asking us this question? So it's fine. We understand. We are still currently working up to you guys taking us seriously. So that's fine. But we asked y'all if there's a dating crisis in South Africa. And a couple of people kind of commented after I had commented. And people were saying, yeah, obviously there is, some kind of a friction within this dating sphere and the dating world. You've obviously been off the market for donkey years now. Yeah. But what would you say you see as an issue with the dating scene today?
Oh, where to start? There's a lot that I can say. But I think one of the main ones would be people are not outside enough. Maybe not outside enough, but I think social media has pushed the narrative. And unfortunately, that has created like a lot of rift between men and women, right? Because
if we're strictly talking heterosexual relationships,
100%. Because I don't know much about the other communities,
Yeah.
So I think one of the first things is that the men are no longer showing excellence in anything. Right?
Damn, are y'all hearing that?
That's just how I feel, I don't know if the lack of the desired careers that we want and stuff like that, even for women, right? But women, there are a higher number of women in STEM and possibly employed, right?
So the landscape has changed is basically what you're saying, that like the landscape is changed from who has access to opportunity, which means then access to resources and just access to a different type of life that they're living in today's time that necessarily wasn't the case in the past, which has structured the way that people relate to each other in a social dating dynamic. Because I think one of the things for sure is that, there used to be this idea, Gucci, you only have a good life and a nice life if you have a man. If you have a partner, if you're in a relationship, at least for women, this is what was being, told to women. And I think that this is what some aspects of like feminism and womanism kind of try to talk about and try to unravel. But I don't think that necessarily people are understanding what some of these concepts that are now coming out to aid in this kind of self-realization and understanding that they influence how you date and how you go about dating. So for example, if we're talking about this idea of like women being projected on your Gucci, you need a man for this, you need a man for that. In order to get a house, you need a man. In order to live this life, you need a man. Like in order to thrive, you need a man. You can survive on your own, but in order to thrive, you need a man. There's also this idea of the decentering of men, right? And when it comes to decentering of men, I think a lot of the ways that it's gone and become interpreted is like disregard men. It's like, oh, I can live without men. Oh, fuck men. Men are the worst. All men are dogs. All men are shit, and all that kind of rhetoric. And I think what we're missing out on is actually all of the other things that we need to be learning and unlearning that actually decentering talks about.
And I think maybe not men in general, but I think maybe the masculinity.
Yes.
People have been cracking down on that really hard. And I think men are not, in as much as, yes, the masculinity we've seen in the past that, wow, it's created some really crappy things and made the environment for women very unsafe or uncomfortable, right? So I understand, okay, there was a need for a conversation on that, but I feel like now the men or the boys, the gents, we've been taught to be a certain kind of way that is now being said, which, you can't be that way or you shouldn't think like that, right? But no one is teaching us, or we're not finding anywhere or any spaces to learn how to be more feminine, how to be more, because I feel like that's what a man can offer now, right? A man can no longer just be the breadwinner or
the provider,
because that's exactly the same thing that the woman is, right?
Nowadays. Or can be.
So now they need to learn how to fill in, maybe emotionally and in other ways, right?
And intellectually as well. I think that just because you are working so robustly at work or in your field, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're applying that same intellectual rigor within your relationship, And I think that, yes, men are now being told, in terms of like narrative, to be different, to be softer, to change and stuff like that. And I think that stuff takes time, that stuff does take time, and it does take the initiative from men to maybe even ask, like, where do you get these books on emotional intelligence? I think there's also this thing where learning and unlearning can sometimes be filled with shame, And so as a man, for example, who is trying to learn to become more emotionally intelligent or whatever the case is, you feel nervous or apprehensive about asking the women around you, or the other men around you who you might see as emotionally tapped in, to be like, what books are you reading? Because sometimes we don't want to be seen as inept and inadequate, but then we are inept and inadequate in the doing things that we do. And then that's why our relationships crumble,
the way they do,
as well. So I think for me that, yes, there's a dating crisis in terms of like, who is approaching who. How are we navigating that space as well? And I think something that we're still holding on to, even though we want to be, non-misogynistic, anti-whatever, anti-this, masculinity that is very, I'm the king of the jungle. I'm basically like an animal. And that's what drives me. It's just my animal brain. We're trying to get out of that, right? But I think in also making room for the men that are emotionally tapped in, like, I think there's a softness that we're calling for. And sometimes we use masculine and feminine as these catchwords, or feminine is womanly. But we don't actually realize that feminine is not attached to woman.
Yeah.
It's not attached to female.
Okay.
Feminine is attached to particular qualities, a softness, potentially, a caring element, potentially, a compassion, an understanding, a nurturance, right? These are qualities that are detached from the actual body, the actual canvas that we're looking at. The same thing with masculine. We're not talking, when we say masculine, we're not talking man. We're not talking beard, right? We're not talking testosterone. No, we're talking, a resoluteness, a logical thinking, maybe somebody who is an achiever, a doer. This motion that is very forward moving. Like I will bulldoze through this thing because I am so vehement about what I am doing. I'm so set in this way about what I'm doing. When we talk about audacity, even sometimes, we see a lot of the times that men have a lot more audacity than women necessarily
so?
do. Yes, but I think that that is a masculine trait if we separate masculine from man and boy and male, right? Masculine is this quality. So for me as a person, I know that I have masculine qualities and I know that I have feminine qualities as well. And in fact, I want to have masculine and feminine qualities as well, because without a man or a partner, I want to still be able to get shit done. I want to still be able to have audacity. I want to be resolute in who I am. I want to be bold. I want to be all these things. I want to be unflinching, you know, in what I'm doing. And I also want to be compassionate and caring and have all of these qualities. So I think that's also something that's tripping us up in terms of dating, because that does mean that if a man, you know, has both masculine and feminine energy, maybe they are the type of person that requires you to approach them.
Yes. So
right?
Then that introduces that. Do you think you're willing?
I'm definitely willing. I've been willing to approach people my whole life. I've been willing to. Usizwe. Caesar, if you see this, Melufum, Usizwe.
Yeah.
Guess who approached them?
You.
Me. I'm the one that led that on mostly. So from jump, I've been willing to say I'm interested, but I'm not the sole leader of this interest.
So what I've seen though, mostly from comments and women's opinions, is that they still want some traditionalness to their men. You know, but is that fair then?
I mean, I think one could say that that's a little bit of a dissociation, right? In terms of like, we can pick and choose what we want in traditional and non-traditional, but we can pick and choose that for how we want to be, right?
Okay.
But that composition of somebody else, your choice of what's traditional and untraditional that you're going to do as a man, I can't pick that for you.
It's something that I choose.
It's something that you choose. So I have to find the person with that right combination. And I think sometimes we're looking for people to forcefully have a particular kind of combination of traditional and non-traditional, you know? Like, as women, I think it's important for us to go and make that first move, not because you're making the first move and the man is sassy and, you know, the man is whatever. No, you're making that first move also to just work your own muscle. And some people don't want to work that muscle. Some people skip leg day every single time they're in the gym because they just don't want to work that muscle. And that's fine. But if you want to be able to use your legs for some crazy things, you're going to have to work that muscle. So if you want the audacity, if you want that robustness in being able to chase whatever it is that you want, you can explore that also in your dating life. It's also a place where you can work that muscle. And I think for me, we miss out on that. We miss out on actually exercising the quality that we want, and we're just looking for the social perception of what it is.
So now with the change in climate in terms of women being more educated than men, which means they're more employed probably, or that number is shifting drastically. What is the value of a man now to an independent woman? You know, maybe that's the other problem, that the standard is so high and men just aren't caught up or seeing that the standard is changed or the requirements are very different. For example, dating apps, right? There's data that has come out that has shown that most women are looking at a 10% of the men that come onto those dating platforms. So it's like, think of it like 80% of the women are looking at the 10% or 15% of the men on the dating sites. What happens to all the other men that have to scroll like 200 and something times just to get one date? You know, they quit. They end up quitting and finding other things to bring them joy and fulfillment, right? Which would be gaming, hanging out with friends and mutuals and stuff like that. It's no longer like, it's unrealistic in a sense.
But But I think that's the thing, though. I think that we think sometimes that, oh, it's just the men that have to untangle themselves from the patriarchy, from the misogyny. They have to untangle themselves from being overly traditional or whatever. No, everybody has to untangle themselves from this. So we also, as women or people that are interested in men, we also have to reorganize what our interests are in men and actually navigate and deep dive what are our interests in men, you know, like, oh, I want tall, dark, and handsome. Not talking about how white people use it, but let's say, you know, folks are like, oh, I want tall, dark, and handsome.
Idris
you
Elba.
know, yeah, I want an Idris Elba. Why do you want an Idris Elba? Have you navigated why you want an Idris Elba? And if somebody doesn't look like an Idris Elba, or if Idris Elba is at your door, okay, those first three things on your list are ticked off. Is that all you have on your list? Is that really, quite honestly, all you have on your list? I want a physical feature person. That's all you have on your list. You ought to have a lot more things on your list. You ought to have a lot more things on your list. Then it's up to you to say, okay, I have 17 things on my list. Right? You can rank them if you want to, those 17 things. What are my non-negotiables and stuff like that? But I think we get caught up a lot in the non-negotiables being physical attributes, and instead of the non-negotiables being qualities and characteristics of a person. Because handsome people can be mean. Beautiful people can be mean. You can be very incompatible with the hottest person in the room, even seeing yourself as the hottest person in the room. You know, I think we neglect compatibility and we're just choosing these surface things that we also have been indoctrinated into choosing. And that's why I'm saying we don't take also the responsibility. Everybody has to take the responsibility to be more feminist. Everybody has to take the responsibility to be anti-fascist. Everybody has to take the responsibility to divorce themselves from misogyny and patriarchy and all of these things. Everybody, both sides, all alphabets, LGBTQIA, everybody has to take that responsibility and do the work to untangle themselves from these things blindly. You have to be aware of what you're doing. People say, I'm self-aware because I know that I like peanut butter and I don't like jelly.
Nah.
That's not self-aware. That's not the self-aware we're talking about. The self-aware we're talking about is I only choose, you know, men who are emotionally unavailable because I am actually dealing with a father wound. Because my father was never available for me. I didn't ever feel like he was emotionally available for me. So I'm rehearsing. Every single time I'm rehearsing the same thing. That's the self-awareness we're talking about. That is the work that we're talking about, right? And so I feel like it's important for us to really be navigating. A lot of people will say when somebody, like, for example, would you lose your mind if Tanda proposed to you?
To be very honest, I would.
Why?
I'd hate that. I don't know. It's not how things are done, right?
But this is the thing, though, right? This is the untangling.
But I don't want to untangle that. That I feel like it's something, you know, you court your woman. You lead in a sense, you know?
Okay.
Yeah, that's just not.
So do you think so then do you think that you offer your partner the traditional aspect of things in general?
In general, I'd say I think I do.
So when y'all go out, right? So when y'all go out every single time, you're paying that bill.
Oh no.
When not you know like that, when y'all go out, you're opening her door, closing her door.
Yes.
Right?
When I can get myself not around to do it, but when I can. Depends on the situation.
You are giving your partner some kind of an allowance because you know that she needs to be maintained.
No, she has a job. She works.
But this is the thing, right? So now we're picking and choosing, oh, I want to be traditional here, but I don't want to be traditional here. But we're forgetting that you're not the only person who has to be making that decision about what should be this traditional aspect of our relationship.
I don't know, but I just think with the marriage one that's just how it works.
But it's just a proposal. It's just because I think also people, just regarding the people that put their proposals online, I think that we think to ourselves, oh, you know, if she says, will you marry me? then that really takes away my masculinity. That takes away my role and my duty. But it doesn't.
No, I don't think it takes away
It
my
doesn't.
masculinity.
Because, right, it doesn't, because she can propose to you behind closed doors when it's just the two of you. But you can still be the one moving in the public if that's what you're worried about.
Nah, it's not
moving
what
in
I'm
the
worried about.
so what is it for you? Because you say you don't know, that's just how things are done. That's why I'm assuming that you're falling victim to all of these other ways of thinking.
It's just how I'd like our story to look and feel and be, you know?
Okay.
She needs to feel like the prize. She needs to feel wanted, chased.
But maybe that is what is motivating her. She feels so much like the prize. Like, I not only am I what he's won, but I've also won. Because what in you feeling like the prize negates her feeling like the prize? Like, why does that take away? Why is her proposing a subtraction from the joy, the prize feeling, the courted feeling? Because what for you is an indication that you feel courted? Or rather, what for you is an indication that she's feeling thoroughly courted? That 10 years down the line when you propose to her? So she must wait 10 years for you to propose to her?
Nah, not even. It's just...
And then when the women are the ones that are hinting, pressure. She's always talking to me about marriage. Pressure.
Nah, apply
but
pressure.
then she can't
pressure.
even make the move.
Nah, apply pressure. Pressure's real. Just don't make the move, in my opinion, in my situation.
Fair.
They don't all have to be like that.
Tando, don't make the move, sweetie. If it's gonna be you, it's gonna be you. You'll find out whenever he's ready. Don't make the move. You know what I'm saying? But I think, again, like.
But I can see where you're pointing.
Exactly. You see, even for you in this moment, you had to do that figuring out. Like, actually, what is it? Gasle. But we don't find ourselves in that place a lot. And a lot of people are like, go to therapy. It's not just therapy. Talk to your friends about something else than going back to your toxic ex. Talk to your friends about something else. Talk to the people in your life that are married, not the ones that just have the what looks on the surface to be a shiny marriage. Like, I think that we really do reserve certain things in certain places, you know? Oh, with my siblings, we're just going to be talking about this. With those people, I'm just going to talk to them about this. But you never know what nugget of wisdom somebody will have for you that is hidden in that awkward conversation. Exactly. That's where you can get your learning. That's where you can get your advice. So, on the subject of, you know, is there kind of a dating issue or crisis? You know, obviously there is. But very obviously, I mean, y'all have seen the studies, you've heard the studies. Even without the studies, you guys have been alone in your house, not by choice, by circumstance. So there's an issue, because it's not everyone who's single that wants to be single. It's not everyone who's single that wants to be single. Some of you don't want to be single, but you've been single for the last 7 years. Because it's not clicking. It's not working. There's something that isn't working. So a kind of solution-y that I heard about when I was watching Your Aunties Could Never, and they were or they had as a guest Kelechi, love your stuff. I don't know if you ever watched this, but absolutely love your stuff. And they were basically and Kelechi was saying that right now, with the different generations that we have, right, and the different age groups and quadrants that we have, she was saying that old women over 40, I think is what they were saying, that women over 40 tend to date up. They tend to date people that are older than them, go for men that are older than them, right? But the men that are older than them have their own indoctrinations, even before that, have their own indoctrinations, their own past indoctrinations. Because some of those older men that they're dating maybe are around the same age as their father, maybe grew up kind of in the same, era, and kind of generate, because the generation has a long range, the same as their father, but they know that, like, what their father and their uncles and whoever are like, that's not the kind of man that they want. But these older men, a lot of the times, have those very qualities. So they were saying that these older women should try to also date down in terms of age, to date the 30-year-olds, to date the people in that, because of the difference in the generation and the messaging that has come through in the generation. Like men in their 30s, according to them, is that men in their 30s right now have a different kind of relationship with masculinity, with relationships, with being a caregiver, with being more emotionally available, as opposed to the older men that they would have been dating, right? You see how those structures are different?
Yeah.
So they're not saying go for them because they be better, they be what. They're just saying that when you're looking at how somebody has been socialized around relationships, maybe what you're looking for when you are in your 40s or whatever is somebody who is more caring, more emotionally available, and so forth. And these younger people, just because they're young, you're disregarding that they have been socialized differently and that they can actually give you what it is that you're looking for. Now, it might not be an everlasting bara thing, but at least there's an opportunity for you to get something that you are looking for at that point. In the same way where they're saying that women in their I think 20s, like late 20s or whatever, they don't date laterally. They don't want to date other 20-year-old men or men in their 20s, right? Yeah, they want to date up, right? And they date the divorcees, and they date the divorcees, right? And they were saying, if I'm remembering correctly, that that's because these younger women, they've been socialized to be stricter. They've been socialized to say, I'm not going to stand for this crap that, you're saying, oh, it's just who I am, or whatever. They're just stricter in general. So they're more able and willing to say, this is not working for me.
I don't think that's the whole truth.
And work your way around. I'll give you a second to respond in a second, right? And get it together. So they were saying that if they date the divorcees in their 30s, in their 40s, right? Those who go even beyond that, I don't know. But if they date the divorcees, those divorcees would get an opportunity to be met by somebody who is way more strict. And maybe because they are younger, these older men will listen even more because they are chasing the youth. Like there's something in these. It was very interesting, the conversation, because part of me was also like, nah, that's very weird. But when they were just saying, like, when we're looking at the age and we're just saying, oh, this person is 28, this person is whatever, where you mustn't disregard the socialization of the person. Now, I'm not saying when you are in your 20s, go and date somebody's uncle. And I'm not saying that. I'm not, when you're 19, I'm not giving you advice. I'm just saying this is what they were saying. So I'm very curious what your perspective is on that.
Maybe in the country that we're in, but I think the economy has a lot to do with how people choose to date.
Absolutely.
A lot to do. So when these 20-year-olds date older, in my opinion, even when these 40-year-olds date older men, it's to recoup something. It's like they don't, like, the value in men is their pocket, bro, to be so for real. Especially in this economy, I swear.
Okay.
And the older you get, I feel it's more about the things that I have than the experience of a partner that I have. Right? That's just how I feel. Because there's no reason. I don't care about strictness. I don't care about dress code. He's freshly divorced. None of that.
Okay.
There's no way a 22-year-old should be dating a 38-year-old even.
Okay.
What are the conversations there? People will argue, no, but they're more intelligent. They grow up. That's fine. But that's very rapey, in my opinion.
Fair.
That's still very rapey.
Fair.
Right? And, okay, so these older women date...
Older men.
Sorry, these younger women, you were saying the 29-year-olds, they date the divorcees. And then who do the 28, 27, 26-year-old men or guys then date? What did they say about that?
What did they say about that?
Because then it's weird if they also can come down a decade. Then that's also weird.
That's obviously weird. That's obviously weird. I think obviously use your common sense. Use your critical thinking,
So who do they date? That's why there's that lonely man situation in the 20s. Because then who do they date? Our peers.
They can date up.
Those people don't want to date people that don't have things. And our peers want to date our fathers because our fathers have things.
Oh, yeah, I mean, that's interesting.
Do you understand? So who do they date? Who do we date?
Men in your 20s, men in your late 20s, who are you dating?
They end up going to high school. They end up going to high school.
Don't do that, because that's very rapey.
So that's illegal. But for our peers as women, they can do whatever they want. But you're telling me
that when you're 26 years old, you're thinking, let me date a 18-year-old, 15-year-old, 13-year-old?
No, not that deep. But they go for like your 18-year-old, your 19-year-olds, which for me is still very weird.
It is very weird. So you're telling me that when you're 28...
So how are you... How are you 39
No, but you're saying... but you're saying that they would be doing that because they ain't got shit to offer, and then that 18 and 19-year-old are okay with them not having that shit to offer. No. You can also date... You can also date if you don't have shit to offer somebody. Let's say you're in your 26s or whatever, and you don't have the stuff that your, lateral women are looking for, right? Other 28-year-old women are looking for. There's cougars. There's cougars who don't need you to bring anything to the table.
And that's not rapey.
I don't know.
Because a cougar is like 50-something. That's not rapey. That's not a form of, maybe, I don't know if there's such a thing, but like financial or economic grooming.
I don't know.
That just looks weird.
I don't know. But what I'm just saying is that if you feel like you ain't got shit to bring to the table...
Don't make
somebody younger suffer. Don't make somebody younger suffer. Obviously this brought up a lot of questions for me as well. But I'm bringing it to you guys. Maybe asking you if there's a dating crisis was too vague, right? Was too vague. Who are you dating? Who are you finding the most success dating when you're in your early 20s, late 20s, early 30s, late 30s, early 40s, late 40s, early 50s, late 50s, and so forth and so on? Who are you finding the most success dating? And is there some workable truth to what the aunties were saying on their podcast, in terms of those dynamics? Like, because I think also there's sometimes this illusion or this idea that even when younger women, and I'm not talking about 18-year-olds or whatever, I'm not talking about them. They're not young women. Those are children. Let's get that straight first. When you're 25, you can be a young woman. Before that, you're a child. I'm sorry. But before 25, you're a child. And even when you're at 25, y'all ain't even ready.
100%.
Y'all ain't even right.
That's what I'm not understanding.
You know what I'm saying? So, but... I think sometimes we think, older means wiser. No. Older means...
I don't think they think that.
People do think that.
Really?
100% people think older means wiser. People
the
think...
way I see it,
people think older means wiser, older means more accomplished. Also, older means emotionally available. Older means they've had their time to learn all these things, and now what I'm going to get is a refined older person. No, because if you're not working on yourself at 18, at 20, at 31, at 60, who's to say that you've worked on yourself when you're 55?
And you might be worse now that you have maybe that access and that money. Now you might be a complete menace.
Exactly. And where money talks, and like you're saying, the social life, the social landscape is a money talks situation. Money talks, money walks situation. For a lot of people in a lot of different ways. So very interesting. But who are y'all having success dating? Who are you having success dating? Please tell us so we can tell the rest of the people that are going to be watching this, because one day we're going to have 200,000 subscribers, and these are going to be the archives that people are looking through. So, put in the chat, put in the comments, who are you having success dating? And who are you not having success dating as well? So, that was the discussion of the day. So we're going to move to the last section of the pod here. This is called Upelepele because it's a bit spicy. Sometimes we do hot takes. Sometimes we'll, talk about people's problems or issues. Sometimes we'll talk about the people that we don't like, because this is our podcast. Who's going to fight us? Today, it's not necessarily a hot take, but it's definitely something spicy that is happening in the country. Something that I want to do a little bit more research on. But the government is not on our side. The government, they don't love us because right now they're trying to pass something essentially that will create a blacklist for people that have student debt. They're trying to blacklist. And I don't know if you guys know what being blacklisted means. Do you know what being blacklisted means?
I think being blacklisted sometimes can affect your ability to seek employment, to get credit and loans and stuff like that, and basically progress your life, right?
And so when you are blacklisted, exactly like Mo said, when you're blacklisted, you basically are limited in terms of the kind of access that you're going to get. Now, you're telling me that you're not blacklisting somebody for fraud, right? Which is understandable. Blacklist somebody for fraud. You're not blacklisting somebody for, breaking the law in a particular way. No, you're not blacklisting somebody. You're blacklisting somebody for student debt. Do you know how many people have student debt? Do you know how many people have student debt?
Must be a lot.
A lot of people have student debt. A lot of people are accruing student debt in this very moment that we are speaking, in this very master's program, in this very first year that they are doing. They are accruing student debt. Now, a repayment of student debt is something that has taken a lot of people a long time to do. And we're just talking South African amounts of student debt. Now, when we even go to America's education system is expensive. It's expensive. We're talking about you're leaving after doing your education with $100,000 of student debt.
That's what, almost about 1.6
something. Yeah, that is a lot of money. And now you're leaving doing your LLB at Wits. I don't really know how much it is, but let's say you're leaving there with $80K worth of student debt, right? And then you're also not getting the opportunity of employment. Right? So how am I supposed to pay back the student loan and the student debt when I'm not having a job? Because the access to jobs is actually not there. It's actually not there.
It's actually insane what they're trying to do.
They're crazy. Like, they really don't
fuck
with us.
We're not going to give you all jobs, but somehow you got to pay this back.
They don't rate us. They do not rate us. We are chopped liver to this South African government. It is really not here for us. So it's not necessarily a hot take, but it is something spicy that's currently developing in the country. I will put in the description of the YouTube channel the link to this petition that you can sign. It's basically a petition to say that we don't want this bill to be passed, or whatever this legislation is that's going to be passed. We don't want it. We don't want anything to do with it because it's absolutely unfair and it's very undignified. It's a very, very undignified thing because they're also making it seem like, the reason why people are not getting jobs is because a lot of people are owing student debt. Those two things don't have anything to do with each other, because when you're blacklisting somebody, you're stopping them from doing something, but already you're stopping them from doing that thing. So what are you blacklisting me against, actually? What are you actually blacklisting people with student debt against? What are you blacklisting them against? We don't have jobs.
Not at all.
We can't get loans. We can't move our lives forward. So what are you blacklisting me from? Are you going to blacklist me from eating? I don't get it.
Me neither. But I think we're just not angry enough. But maybe this will start that snowball effect.
I really hope so.
Something needs to change drastically.
I really hope so. Oh, actually, I also saw another video. And I'll find a way to share those videos or tag the creators or whatever. I also saw another video of this student. I think she's studying law in some capacity in South Africa. I think I shared it with you, or maybe I shared it with the pod. But she was saying that we should actually be suing the government. We should be suing the government and using the Constitution to sue the government, especially with this joblessness situation. Okay. Right? Because in the Constitution, it talks about us as people that belong to this country. We have a right to obviously access water, to access basic things, and to also live a dignified life. And to not have a job means that people cannot live a dignified life, because poverty is not dignified. Being poor is not a dignified way of living. So we are losing our dignity as we have this joblessness things, because there's certain things that people have to do that are not dignified, that take that dignity from you. To live a dignified life is to be able to pursue the things that you want to pursue. To not have to be begging on the corner, to not have to be begging on the street, to not have to be rummaging through the bins to be finding food to eat. That's not a dignified life.
Not at all.
It takes that human dignity away from people. So we'll do more research. Maybe the next episode or the following episode will be a little bit more kind of uncovering these topics and these ways of doing things. But
but let us know about your dating lives, how that's going, if it's going past trauma, maybe not past traumas, but advice that you'd have for someone who's coming into maybe the age group that you're then leaving, or
Yeah, I guess so. Let us know. Well, we have been the Sound of Siblings here with another delicious episode.
It's tough to make this episode.
It has definitely been tough, but it actually ended up being fun. Third time's the charm.
Third time's the charm.
That's what they say. And it's the triangle. It's great. But I've been in Bali.
And I've been Mo.
And see you folks on the next episode.
Bye.
Bye.